Finally.
Finally.
Welcome. Thank you for coming on.
Thank
Poor
you.
Jill.
Thank you.
You're
Good to see you all. Thank
welcome.
you for the privilege.
Oh, of course. Absolutely. Tell us your story.
So a lovely lady named Mary Beth Davis, who Gayla knows very well, called me up one day. I didn't even know her. It was just out of the blue, but she knew a mutual friend and she invited me to a meeting. And, my husband and I, he's 13 years older than I am. So he's just turned 70. I'm 57. We had been looking for something just to help our bodies to feel
Yeah.
better. We have a small farm. We work physically. I'm a teacher as well. And so, just the aches and pains and all of that. And, he had some more serious health issues, but I didn't even think about it. Honestly, I didn't even, my goal was just, I want to feel a little bit better every
Yeah.
day. And I want my husband to feel a little bit better. Right. And
Yeah.
so we went to this meeting and I was just totally intrigued by the technology, by the history of how it came to be, and also the testimonies. I said to everybody at the table, I said, please, I want everybody to tell me your testimony. And so they all told me about, what it had done for them. And I was just blown away. I'm like, these are so many different types of testimonies. They're not the same, different age group of people. And I'm like, wow, this is pretty amazing stuff. I said, well, I'll give it a try. And so my husband and I both signed up with the gold package, and we started using the product. Well, before I knew it, I started seeing differences in my husband. And see, he had been having these cognitive issues
Mhm.
where he just, wasn't really connecting the dots. He was starting to run stop signs, starting to run stoplights. I'm to the point of, okay, I'm going to have to take the keys. I mean, if you've
Right.
ever had to make that type of a decision, it's so difficult, but you have to seriously consider it for their safety and others, right?
Yeah.
And so we were to that point. And so he doesn't know that. He didn't know that then, but I was about to just hide those keys. And so anyway, but I started noticing, wow, he's thinking better. He's connecting the dots. He's not running stop signs. He's not running stop
Wow.
lights and scaring me to death when he drives. And so that was a plus, and so that was a big deal for us. And like I said, I had not even thought about, you learn to live with things and some things just kind of creep up on you. And so it's not until afterward that you realize, wow, that thing that I was experiencing for so long is like gone. And so for me, I had learned to live with, since I'd had my son, 27 years of my bowels not being right, because sometimes they have to cut you a little bit further back. And so that messes things up. And so they can't fix that. That's like something you just learn to live with, I guess. And, the
Right.
doctor told me, she said, you're going to hate me for this. And I'm like, okay, really? What's going on? I don't know what's going on. I just need to have this baby. And so anyway, I realized later, well, you're just not right with your bowels. And so I think it was 2.5 months into it, I realized, okay, I'm normal after 27 years. I'm like, how did that happen? I'm like, oh my gosh, it's got to be these patches.
Mhm.
I'm like, it repaired me in a way that doctors couldn't help me with, and that might not be a big deal. It's just something I learned to live with, but still, it was quality of life,
Yeah.
and I don't have to be worried about being at the end of the hall at school and the bathroom's on the other end of the hall and making it in time. And so,
Wow.
just things like that,
Mhm.
but it also lots of other smaller things. Like for me, I had damaged my jaw chewing or biting into something. And like every morning I would have to like pry my jaw open
Oh
and
my
it would
God.
snap, crackle, and pop. And it was just, it was damaged. And I honestly didn't go to the doctor or the dentist. I thought, I'm going to wait this thing out. But it had been months and there was no improvement. And so, anyway, I woke up one morning. I'm like, oh, you know what? I didn't have to. It's been weeks and I haven't had to do that same thing with my jaw. And so, I'd like to tell people it's like having your own internal doctor, and it's like
Mhm.
it just goes where it needs to go, and it just knows who to deal with first and what priority, what order. It's like it's your own triage system. And so to me, that was exciting because I'm like, it's not a big deal, but at the same time, again, quality of life improvement. And so it was just another thing. And then another small thing, but it was, it was a little bit of a concern, is I had broken my leg when I was in college, fell on some black ice, and my knee, something in my knee would always pop out of place. Not bad, but I'd have to like kickstart it and get it popped back in there. And then it's been, gosh, it's probably, Gayla, it's probably been a year since I've had to do that. And that was frequent. It was frequent. And again, it was something doctors, they're not gonna be able to do anything about that, And,
Yep.
so, but with people that I know,
But
well, and then the other thing I wanted to tell you too, go ahead, Gayla.
Uncle Bob.
Oh, Uncle Bill, Uncle Bill. Okay, well, I'm going to talk about age reversal too. But Uncle Bill, my uncle is around 80, and he had had a stroke. I think it's been maybe 3 years ago, and a year and a half into it, I could be a little bit off on my dates, but he was still on a feeding tube because he couldn't swallow. That can often be a side effect of a stroke, and not able to walk. He was he just couldn't walk, period. So my aunt said, I want to try this for him. And so I said, okay, cool. So 4 days into it, she calls me and she said, I don't know if it's the speech therapy or if it's the patch. She said, but you know what? He's starting to swallow much better. Like,
Wow.
like much better. And I said, oh, it's the patch. It's definitely the patch. And so anyway, so they stuck with it and they still have stuck with it. So then it wasn't maybe a month, no, maybe 3 months later, they removed the feeding tube. He
Oh my
got
God.
dentures because he had lost that, didn't need them, and so got new dentures and is eating steak,
Oh
chewing
my.
anything and everything he wants to eat. Again, quality of life, right? And on
Yep.
top of that, he started walking with a walker, and now he can walk a little bit independently.
Wow.
And the other thing that she shared with me just recently that I didn't catch, because they live out of town, is that he had not really been able to speak. He would just like grunt or make noises, when he needed to communicate something. But she said, no, he's talking. Ever since he's been on the patches, he started talking again. So, yeah, huge, 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 huge.
Yeah,
And
when doctors tell you there's nothing we can do, and then you literally put a sticker on the sides of a silver dollar, and your whole life changes. It's insanity.
Definitely, definitely. And for them, it has been such a turnaround. And so she wants to get started on them, and she's going to be starting them soon, I think. And then
Yeah.
I've had my biological age tested. I don't know if anybody else has shared that with you,
No.
but no. So I did at the beginning with one naturopathic doctor, and then I guess it was a year and a half into this. I've been doing this almost 2 years. A year and a half in, I had them done again, and it showed that I had age reversed 10 years.
Wow.
So at the time I was 56, so it literally said I was 46 years old
What?
on my biological age test. Yes. Yeah.
Oh my.
And my husband too. He hasn't reversed as much as I have, but he's got a lot more issues going on. He's also got a heart condition we're dealing with. And so his has reversed, I think, 5 years. But when he started, he was only 68. But his before he ever started the patches, his chiropractor had had this test done, and it said he was 79. So that
What?
tells you, yeah. So that tells you he had a lot going on that we didn't realize. Some degenerative type conditions.
Wow.
And so it has reversed. It's been slower, but hey, we're moving in the right direction. We're happy.
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
incredible.
Love
Super
that.
exciting.
Oh
And
my
I feel like Gayla, I feel like I'm 25. Girl, I could not run. Are you kidding me? I mean, I would be out of breath. My chest would be pounding. I would feel exhausted, that exhausted feeling you get if I just ran a little bit. I ran all the way back to the back of my 3 or 4 acres, and I'm fine.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
amazing.
Work for hours. I came home and worked after I worked all day, and I worked outside planting plants, shoveling and all that. And I did that until about 7 o'clock. So, yeah.
Oh my God.
I feel like a new woman.
Yay!
I love it.
How could you
Like,
not be excited about
Right?
it? God,
exactly. Yeah.
beautiful.
Beautiful.
Great
Thank you
Yeah,
for
but
sharing.
you're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks, Kim.
Yeah.